What is up everyone, Michael here, and today I want to talk about building bad decks, and I'm talking more than just your regular unoptimized decks. I'm talking about decks that are a horrendous mess trying to play, and I must be a sick freak because I love these decks. Well, that is probably an exaggeration for most of the decks I am talking about, but the last one is so bad that the original name for the deck was One Land, 0 colors, 0% win rate, which should give you a good idea of what the deck is about. First, I wanted to talk about what started my love for bad decks. When I first read the card Grist, the Hunger Tides +1 ability, and found out that it can be a commander, I thought the best way to improve my odds of milling an insect is to simplify my deck into 2 categories, bugs and lands. Anything else is unnecessary. While not the most unique idea, it was fun picking out 69 meaningless bugs to throw into the deck and not having to worry about a proper mana base, just calling 15 swamps and 15 forests good enough. Something about the deck has a pauper EDH feeling to it, not in the fact that it is a bad deck but in the niche tribal theme, and performance against typical EDH decks compares closely to that of my pauper EDH mediocre deck. They both center around a 3-mana 2-color commander who synergizes with a single creature type and benefits from deck building with a large number of set creature types. It seems as though tribal themes are common amongst my bad deck building habits, as the next bad deck I would like to talk about is my Voha but Fair deck. Now this isn't actually a Voha deck, but I built it shortly after Voha was printed and people were complaining about its power, and I wanted to make people mad by saying I was playing a Voha deck. If you've been playing Magic for a while, then you probably know my actual commander is Tolsamia, specifically the one from War of the Spark. God, that feels weird to say that the War of the Spark was a while ago, but it's been 6 years at this point. Now this deck isn't as bad as my Grist deck, considering it has a better mana base, but relative to the Voha, Jaws of the Conclave decks being built at the time, it was relatively bad. Also, on second thought, the mana base statement may be a bit of a stretch, as it's only basics, Command Tower, Canopy Vista, 4 mana rocks, and 4 cultivate effects. I think one of the greatest draws to intentionally weak decks is the specific deck build restrictions you impose on yourself, giving an opportunity to use niche cards such as Watchwolf or Celestia Kiran, a mana rock from a cycle that is often overlooked for the signets or talismans. Now for the main deck, I want to talk about which is truly the worst deck I ever built that somehow ended up with a 100% rate. The commander of the deck is Hope of Girapa, a flying colorless 1/1, and utilizes Rule 0 with a single mystery booster card. The only land in the deck is Rift, a playtest card that you can choose to always have in your opening hand at the cost of drawing 1 less card, still resulting in a 7-card hand. With only 1 land and no color, the entire deck consists of 0 and 1 mana artifacts, so no matter what is in your opening hand, any card can be played turn 1. Even with extreme deck building restrictions, every single card still feels useful, even if some are extremely niche, leading to a sort of toolbox deck style. Since the deck is pretty much hard limited to a single action per turn after you play all the 0 drops in your opening hand, pulling off anything of note feels satisfying. For example, take the card Goblin Firearm that costs 1 but can be sacrificed by paying 7 mana to destroy any permanent. Initially, it seems as though it is impossible to activate it. There is exactly enough mana in the deck if you have Rift, Soul Ring, Soul Talisman, Springleaf Drum with a creature, and Manifold Key to untap Soul Ring or Talisman gives you exactly 7 mana to use the activated ability. Now the 7 mana is already impressive to pull off, but that only gives us access to set up removal if, in addition to all the other required cards, you also have a Mere Moon Vessel. If at any moment an opponent removes your Mere Moon Vessel, you can use the 1 mana generated to flash out the firearm and still have your other 7 mana open to crack the bomb for some quick removal. At the beginning of the video, I said I used to refer to this deck as 1 land, 0 colors, 0% win rate, but that name was before ever playing it. I have since renamed the deck 1 land, 0 colors, 100% win rate after winning my first and only game with this deck. I wish I could say pulling off the Goblin Firebomb combo was what won me the game, but the entire game I just sat around with a few flyers, some graveyard hate, a bit of life gain, and a creature that let me look at face down creatures against 3 decks with no face downs. The only reason I won was that another one of the players was running a Sisay Shrine deck, and after taking out the other 2 players decked themselves to death either with Go, Shintai of Lost Wisdom, or Hondan of Seeing Winds, making it either intentional or accidental victory. Unfortunately, I don't remember how I got the singular win with the worst deck I ever built that has the highest win rate I've ever achieved. Comment down below the worst deck you've ever built. Doesn't even have to be a magic deck. I didn't mention it previously in this video as I cut it from the script, but one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes is Artemis, which definitely falls into the bad deck category. Anyways, that is all for now. Michael is out.